Sometimes when you're driving down the road all by yourself, you begin to hear a voice that tells you need to look around, pay attention. Maybe something isn't quite right. That voice is me. It's the voice of Gord. G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of Voice of Gord. Got a good guest for you today, my old buddy Eddie Plotnikoff, the Ice Road Fiddler, multi-instrumentalist, and all-around interesting dude. Gonna fill you all in on this year's Ice Road, life as a hippie fiddling truck driver, descendant of Doukhobors, and Grand Forks' most infamous son. Real good guy. Haven't spoken with him in a while. I don't think Eddie's ever been on a podcast before. He's a pretty soft-spoken dude, and that'll come across in how he sounds. But I think you guys will enjoy some of his stories. And those of you who follow that are truckers, will just another interesting character to add to the mix. I really like being able to share interesting people I've met in my life on the road, and Eddie certainly qualifies as one of the more interesting ones. All right, so without any further delay, steady Eddie Plotnikoff. G'day everybody, and welcome to another episode of Voice of Gord. I'm Gord, and this is my voice. The other voice you're going to hear today is of an old friend of mine I haven't talked to in a long time, who's very graciously given us his time to come on the show and give us a little report on Ice Road season 2023 and tell us all about his very interesting life. Please welcome to the show, Steady Eddie Plotnikoff, the Fiddler.
Hello. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for having me here. I mean, I'm usually not a talker on the radio, but Gord wanted me on so bad. So we've been buddies for a long time. Haven't talked to him for a whole bunch of years, but really nice to catch up and
Well,
see what we're gonna.
it's been mostly random text messages back and forth between
Yeah,
Voice of Gord Studios and where you are in BC or wherever you might be trucking. I'm catching you at home in Kelowna, correct?
yeah. Just finished Ice Roads about a week ago, so I'm taking a month off and then going to Anhydrous, Saskatchewan and stuff in April. So get some time off. That's good.
Right. So how is the season this year, and how many years have you been running the ice now?
That was my 13th season, and I really didn't have a good season because I don't know why. I started on January 13th, which is a Friday, and my boss said, "You sure you want to start on Friday 13th?" I said, "I don't believe in that stuff." I didn't have a good year because my truck was broke down half the time, and it was yeah, it just didn't go smooth. Like, you get a good truck and you get on a roll, go, but this was just that wasn't going.
So you up there for West Can again?
West Can, yeah.
Do I have it correct that they got bought by some Americans, some outfit called Keenan
Yeah,
Advantage Group a few years ago?
CAG, yeah, Canaan Advantage Group, yeah. And to me, I don't know, it doesn't make any difference to me.
meet the new bosses, same as the old bosses.
Yeah, they just give me the loads and put my time in, and like go according to with the e-logs. We got e-logs all over everywhere.
How's that
So
work on the ice, given that you're basically at minimum 16 hours from Yellowknife to the mine?
the rules are simple. You have to get 8 hours sleep or berth every day from midnight to midnight. So as long as you get that, you can just keep driving or whatever.
So,
As long
so
as that,
basically, the Northwest Territories change the rules to accommodate the stupidity of this surveillance technology.
yeah, they changed the rules a bit, but
Interesting.
that but
Who's
you got to
still
have that.
who's still running the show in Yellowknife? I'm kind of curious if I remember
Well,
any
well,
names.
well, well, Steve, remember Steve?
Yep.
It's Thompson. Thompson, he's cool. He's good. Keeps it running good.
Who's that other fellow that was running the tank farm there? John and his wife. She worked in the office.
Carswell. No, he's a terminal manager in Edmonton
Oh, no
for the
kidding.
last. Yeah, he is for the last 8 years or something like that. They
That's a
moved
big
on.
promotion to be like West Can's big cheese in Edmonton.
Yeah, and he kicks butt. So,
Define Carswell kicking butt.
well, I don't know if I should explain this, but I was doing anhydrous and I got caught for speeding past one of those ambulance where they got the flag. No, actually it was the cops flashing lights. So I went go a little too fast past there, and there was another cop right behind them. So that the other cop chased me down and gave me a speeding ticket. And John didn't like that,
Well,
so he fired me.
did you move over? Was this like on some country road in Saskatchewan or
Yeah,
something?
no, it was just what Highway 41 or something like that. Whatever, main kind of a main highway. Anyways, they fired me for that. He did.
Well, then they brought you back for the ice.
Well, I waited 2 years. I did a bunch of other trucking jobs, local, this and that. But then a couple of 2 years later, I came back.
I used to when I was still living in Canada, I used to get postcards in the mail from Westcan. You know, hey, you
Yeah,
want to come back and work on the ice for us this year? They'd always show up like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas, kind of like a Merry
yeah,
Christmas, Happy New Year. Get your
yeah,
butt back up north. Obviously, the people sending out the postcards weren't paying attention to who they were sending them to. It was just automated.
yeah. They're looking for drivers. Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. So you in particular had a crappy season because of truck breakdowns.
Yeah,
What exactly in the truck was not working for you?
the computers. All these trucks are run by computers. The transmission fault went on and shut me down for 5 days, and another transmission fault came off, and ABS, and who knows what the computer? Only the computer knows what's wrong. But like 20 years ago, if a truck breaks down, you could actually fix it. But now a truck breaks down, it's called what D rating. You
Yeah.
have no idea what's wrong. So you got to get it towed in.
Yeah, crazy. So did the truck you were driving have an automatic transmission?
Automatic transmission.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Really? Up there?
Actually, there's only one or two. Every Westcan truck is automatic, pretty
Wow.
much.
What
Except
was the reasoning behind the Red Army going with automatics? Like all the usual can't find drivers, or they just bought them that way just to piss everybody off?
yeah, maybe people don't know how to shift gears.
Maybe if Westcan weren't retards and chasing good drivers out the door and being corporate fucks, maybe they wouldn't have this problem and they could have normal trucks.
Well, they got people from every country and all over Europe, all over Eastern Europe, Australia,
Yeah, I had Gavin on the show there.
Russia. Right on, Gavin. I remember Gavin.
Yeah, he's retired from trucking now, and he's working full time for his Mururoa Naval Veterans Association. Um,
Holy,
yeah, fighting the New Zealand government, and then during COVID, he was running around making sure all his vets that live by themselves make sure they could get to medical appointments and get their groceries and stuff during New Zealand's insane lockdowns. So Gavin's still doing the hard yards. He's just doing it for his boys instead of in a truck, you know.
Well,
Top, 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 top quality people, Mr. Smith.
yeah, he seems like that's a pretty busy schedule he's got there. He's
Yeah.
doing some good stuff.
Yeah, you had computers shutting your truck down. How was the weather up there? Like, how many loads did they get? Like, was the season in general for everybody else pretty good?
Pretty good, pretty good. The guys who didn't break down, Gaucho, remember Gaucho?
Yes.
And that's a 3 day rounder because you go to Hay River and then to the mine for every trip. That's a 3 day trip, right? And so the guys who were doing good made well 16 loads total. That was the best, I think. But to Divac, I think the most guys I hear even close to 30. Some of the Sidhu guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like doing rounders out of Yellowknife out of the tank farm.
yeah, yeah. That's a 2 day rounder. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Uh,
I think if I remember correctly, Mr. Sadhu there up in Whitehorse still has T800s and trucks that are meant for men with normal manual transmissions and
I would say more normal transmissions and DEF. I don't think they have DEF and paper log.
yeah, the way it's supposed to be. What a coincidence that they actually got things done. You have a normal
Yeah,
truck that's built for what it's
yeah,
supposed to do, and just go get her done. I remember
yeah.
you'll remember my last season on the ice in 2009
Yeah.
when West Can had sort of took over RTL and they brought up those Mac Pentagons or whatever the hell new truck, and they kept freezing up. The
The was there our Pinnacle? Is it Pinnacle?
yeah, the emission control systems on them wouldn't
Yeah.
work in the cold, and then they would shut the truck down. You'd just be going down the middle of the ice. And I don't know how many of them things got towed back to Yellowknife, leaving loaded Super Bs parked in the middle of the lakes. Yeah, just total shit show. And then when they did get them to work, I remember talking to one of the Nova Scotia boys about this because I was working for Jim Langell, his old 93 Peterbilt with a mechanical 4 1/4 cat. And every trip from Yellowknife to Diavik and back, I would burn between 580 and 620 liters of fuel. And these Macs that Westcan had anywhere from 800 to 1300 liters of fuel per trip to do the exact same thing. And that's supposedly the better for the environment somehow.
Yeah. As soon as the trucks started showing up with DEF, there was problems, and every truck just about there has DEF now.
Does it do so? Did they not keep all? I remember RTL had all those old Macs and Western Stars they would store in the backyard
Yeah.
and only use them either for construction season in the summer or on the ice. And a lot of those old 80s model Western Stars with mechanical cats in them did really well. Did they get rid of those trucks?
There actually there's still a couple of them left. Get this, I went through 7 trucks, because I was breakdown. I got on my seventh truck, and one of them was one of those. And it was a stick shift 18 speed. That was the best truck, even though I had no room to move around in. But that was the most reliable truck I had.
Yeah, many
'Cause,
such cases, and this is my surprised face.
yeah, these new trucks they got the Anthems now, which are actually they don't have too much problems with the Anthems. That's another Mac.
Yeah, I one of my buddies down here in the States, I'm actually wearing his t-shirt, Hellbent Express. He'll be listening to this. G'day, Jamie.
Yeah.
He's a Mac enthusiast. He'll be glad to hear that the Anthems did all right up there.
They're a little slightly better truck, more room, and
How was the weather up there? Did you get any windstorms? Did you have any extended stays at Portage 49?
no, just one storm. It would lasted 2 days, but ended up in Lockhart. Actually had a jam session one day there, so that was pretty cool. Some of it is recorded on Facebook, Trucking in Canada, something like that. Facebook page, go find it there.
Nice.
But the,
How many of you had instruments?
There was about five guys showed up, Taco Joe and a couple, I forget the other guys' names. Got some playing done.
Nice. For my audience, you're well known for being a basically a fiddler and guitarist and multi instrumentalist,
And Russian.
and the descendants of a Doukhobor colony.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell us like how it is like. So where's your family from? When did you start playing music? How did you get into playing fiddle? How'd you get into trucking? Like, trace your life story for us a little bit.
I grew up in Grand Forks, BC, the Doukhobors community, and many people speak Russian there still pretty good. And I try just about remember some of it. Actually, there was a couple of guys right from Russia. I was able to speak Russian with them. That was pretty cool. Practice my Russian. Well, I went to school and actually started driving truck. I started driving truck for my dad, logging truck for 2 years, and that 2 years I learned everything about trucking, putting on chains and every day. And but now it's everything I learned from those 2 years. And then I quit that. I didn't want to be a trucker, so I became a hippie and went to Calgary and just hung around.
Yeah, you became a hippie.
Yeah,
Was that just by osmosis through people you were hanging out with, or did you seek
yeah,
did you seek that out because you were mad at your dad for some reason?
yeah. I actually don't know. My nature is to be. I don't know. Hard to describe. My nature is peaceful. This and that.
Well, you're a pretty laid back guy, Eddie. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty laid back, and it's like some people are really present and a lot of testosterone or whatever. Well, I got pretty much testosterone. And
Well, hey, so
but
speaking of testosterone, how's your wife? How's Elizabeth doing?
she's good. She's getting stressed out from work and bookkeeping and stuff, but she's okay.
She's pretty happy you're back from being up north for a couple months.
Yeah, until she gets the desire to boot me out again.
Didn't I remember you telling me that didn't you and Elizabeth go team trucking for a little while? Did she get her license?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was what year would that be? 2013, 2014. She got her license, and we went trucking for this local company, long hauling in the States and stuff. She did it for about a year until we found out it's not for her. It wasn't for her at all because she didn't know how to shift gears properly. Automatic, she could drive an automatic, but and she couldn't back up. That was a nice excursion for about half a year, and then that was it for her. So
Right. Well, it's not the job's not for everybody, and I guess
that's true.
sometimes those of us who are good at it make it look easy, but for the average person, maybe it actually isn't easy at all.
No, but it's a job I can do because, like, what is it? You get in a truck and go from here, load up here, go unload over there. What's the big brain thing about that?
Well, I mean, I remember when I first met you on the ice in 2000.
I know where it was on Gordon Lake.
That's right, Gordon Lake. Yeah, me,
Yeah,
Gordon, the lake they named after me.
that's
Um,
right.
it's the first long lake. So when you leave Yellowknife, you got your 68K out to the meadows, and you start making your way north. Gordon Lake's the first big lake, and I think it's actually an hour from the bottom
Uh,
end to the
hour,
north end, right?
hour and a half,
You
41
used to
kilometers.
you used to put the microphone for your VHF in between your legs to keep the button on, and you'd play fiddle
Yeah,
for us while we were going down the road,
yeah,
which you can do when you're only doing 17 miles an hour.
or 25 kilometers away. I don't think in miles per hour.
Yeah. Well, I live
I'm
in
a
the
kid.
U. I live in America now. You'll have to forgive me, and I think most of my
Right.
audience is down here. 25K, 17 miles. Either way, it's
Yeah.
very slow, and it takes a long goddamn time to get to the mine. and any entertainment that a fella can come by is well appreciated. And the fact you used to play fiddle for us was amazing. And if not fiddling, you gotta lean out the window and look at the northern lights at night or in the mornings. Take in the wildlife, the Arctic foxes and caribou and whatnot that might come by, or the wildlife in Yellowknife at the end of the season. Did you get any shows in at the Strange Range or anything at the end of the season?
No, because I usually walk to town across. Remember that lake we walk across and stuff.
Yeah,
I,
Frame Lake.
I'm yeah, I got it. I got a sore hip, so I tried to do it, and you just get two. I can only go about half a kilometer, and gets my sore hips get sore. Yeah, I'm getting that age or something. I'm not gonna tell what age I am, or should I?
Didn't you just turn 60 here recently?
More than that. It's more than that. More than that.
Well, I remember the one year everybody got piled up in Yellowknife because the ice was really bad, and then
Yeah,
they kept sending everybody down to Hay River to get loaded, and because they were expecting the road to reopen, and then it never reopened, and they had to unload everybody, and it turned into this big cluster, and we were all stuck in Yellowknife for like a week and a half.
yeah. That
You,
was
you,
'06.
yeah, you played a lot of shows. You were down at the Strange Range quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
So,
that's
for the listeners out there, how would you describe the Strange Range, aka the Gold Range Hotel?
that's cool. I like it there. It's a country rock band. They have jam sessions there. The locals show up. A lot of native, all kinds. But
I was gonna say,
people say
I think the indigenous population at the Strange Range, it's like
it's
80,
pretty
90% of the crowd.
pretty well much. Yeah, and they love that country rock music. That's what they like. That's what I like too. So
They always have a house band, either locals
yeah,
or people from down south. Because like
yeah,
Yellowknife's a long way away. It's 1,000 miles on the road from Edmonton to Yellowknife.
1,000 miles.
Yeah, 1600 k.
Yeah,
Did you do any speaking of Edmonton, did you do any pre-haul like in the summer or fall or no?
yeah, yeah. I did some. Well, I do anhydrous spring and fall, which is a couple of months each. And then I did some this year. I kind of volunteered or elected to do some pre-haul from Edmonton to Kamloops, some to Vancouver, calling fuel.
Oh, okay. Did you get badged up and all that stuff, or were you depending on
Yeah, well, you know how you get badge up, you got to do 10 loads like that. Yeah, I got my badge for Petrocan, so
they're called Suncor now or something, I seem to recall.
Suncor Petrocan, yeah.
No, so yeah, you're too old. You didn't want to spring for a taxi, so no fiddling in Yellowknife at the end of the season this year.
Something like that, yeah.
Have you got I remember one time you drove your van all the way to Newfoundland and did a tour just playing fiddle
Yeah.
all over the place. Have you done that again, or what have you been
No,
doing music wise outside of trucking?
I've been kind of just playing in my bedroom closet, and and busking because my stepdaughter I was promoting my stepdaughter. She's got a couple an album on Spotify, and I was promoting her. She's one of her backup guitar musicians. She writes songs, and they're very good, super good quality recording songs.
What's her name?
Megan Friedman.
Freedman.
Uh,
So who's still running up north? I mean, I haven't been up there in forever. Is it still the usual gang of newfies coming out every year, or
Actually, this year was quite a few less Newfoundlanders. And for West Can, some of the older guys show up, but not as many. And I would say the average age of West Can on Ice Road is 60.
really?
Yeah, lot of old timers showing up.
Wow.
Compared to Sidhu, the average age is 40, 50, something like that.
Wow. So not very many young guys up there.
Not as many young guys. A lot of people from different countries like Ukraine, Poland, France, all that, all those European countries.
So what West Can's still doing the immigration thing. They don't believe
Yeah,
in paying people more, trying to get young guys. It's just let's do global homogeneity. Let's suck the labor out of every other country with no
yeah,
regard for your own people and no regard for the needs of the country from which you're taking these folks. Automatic transmissions and warm bodies from all around the world, eh?
yeah. And it's all kinds. It's like you go into on Star Trek or Star Wars. You go to the lunchroom or the bar scene. All these different characters, all these different creatures. There's everybody's so different. That's what it's like to me.
Yeah. Well, there's some
But
value.
I'll tell you, there's one place where nobody is from the U.S. No U.S. drivers.
Interesting.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think there must be some weird perception down south about trucking up north, which is actually incorrect. That like we don't get paid enough or Canadian money sucks. I mean, Canadian money does suck, but I always made way more money when I was out west. When I was in BC and Alberta, up
Yeah.
north, doing the Super B thing out in the woods. I made more money up there than I ever made anywhere else. And
Well, same. To me, the West Can is pretty well the best place that I can make more money.
the guys down here, I mean, you can make money in the U.S. as long as you're doing over the road and you're hauling specific things.
Mm.
But I work local hauling logs, and they don't pay anything. It's garbage money. I'm
I
making
know.
the same. I make the same amount of money now as I did. I was in high school. It's
Yeah.
kind of pathetic actually. But I got two little kids at home, so I've made the decision to sit tight and stay local. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, nice to be with the kids until they get a certain age or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but there's some people who think our jobs will be automated away soon enough. But I remain
Yeah, well,
skeptical.
yeah, trucks that drive themselves.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that. I mean, I would be somewhat skeptical that that would take place somewhere like the ice, where you're negotiating portages, conditions, snow. I don't know. I'm skeptical
Not
that they
not
would be able
not.
to do anything up there.
I could only see it like on the freeways in the U.S. or something where everything is pretty more planned out or something, but
Yeah.
not up there. No,
Anything else up there happen up there this year of note?
I went in the snowbank once, but it's not proud of that.
I remember
But
when you I
trying,
remember when you fell asleep in front of the fishing camp on McKay Lake,
yeah,
and
that was a good one.
you went surfing with that old T800. You had her in there and up there on a pretty good angle.
That was you know, yeah, I was noticing myself going to snowbank, so I stepped on the throttle and even went further.
I remember. I think you got rescued by Ralph Noseworthy, didn't he? Come up and pump you out.
Yeah, yeah, and
Does Ralph still work up there?
haven't seen him for a whole bunch of years. Well, no,
Okay.
actually, I saw him. Well, Ralph, I saw him last year. Yeah, Ralph was up there last year, but not this year.
Okay. How did ice road season work under the silliness of the COVID regime in
Oh,
2021
that
and
was so
22?
so stupid. They had segregated rooms, and if you're not vaccinated, you can't go into the thing and into the lunchroom. The nose testing, nose jabs was ridiculous. But
Wow.
this year there was none of that this year. But last year they were just really freaked out about any COVID stuff.
Right. Did anybody up there test positive or get sick or anything?
Well, actually, they had COVID jail, and I was in there because I tested positive, even though I didn't hardly felt a thing, just a little bit of achy for a couple of days. That was it. But they wanted me to lock me up for 2 weeks in there. Ended up being only 1 week, but there
Would they
was
have given you the option to say, get fucked? Like, if like I'm trying to understand how the logic of locking someone away up there. I would have just got in the truck and drove back to Edmonton and told them to go fuck themselves.
I don't know. That's just what I did. I don't because I don't mind a day off at all. If it's no, no, if my days off, I totally enjoy my days off. So because I'll get through the season somehow.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing with ice road is, yeah, you end up working so many hours and so hard when you do get
Yeah,
a storm shut down and you get stuck at Lockhart or Yellowknife or at the mine. It's good. You can sleep
I like
in,
that.
do
Yeah,
some laundry, because you might not get another day off for 2 or 3 weeks.
I know you don't get much sleep up there because you got to work like the 8 hours, but you can split that into 8 and 6 or something, 4 and 4. So you get 6 hours, and that's pretty good, but not quite that good. And then you got to get 2 hours somewhere else, and but you got to just keep going and going to make it worthwhile.
Right. So the mines that are still in business, Diavik, Caddy's still going. Is the Caddy still
Yeah,
going?
yeah. But I hear some of those dieback is shutting down in a couple of years or something like that. I hear stories.
Well, I mean, those kimberlite deposits, once they run out, they run out, right? Like,
Yeah,
depends on how much progress they're making. It's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this because you were up there and you'd know the score. I remember reading about BHP Acadie hit its like apogee. They got their highest production year, and then every year after is going to be winding down, winding down, winding down, and eventually Acadie will close. I think they're going to close before all the rest of them. But
yeah. I heard a caddy might be shutting down, but Misery is still going. And I think they found another diamond thing close to Gaucho or something. I'm just guessing.
right, Snap Lake still going?
It was very, very slow. They were hauling equipment out of there, I think. They're kind of shutting it down. Or I don't even know the exact details.
Huh, interesting. Did you get up to any of the north stuff up on Contueto Lake?
No, they haven't done that for a whole bunch of years. They haven't nothing's been up to Lupin or Jericho.
And I guess
Nothing.
I would take it then that they never went forward with that Bathurst Inlet project either.
No, no, nothing up there. Just the three mines. You want to service the three mines, and that was it.
Right. Well, so you had other than truck breakdowns, you had a fairly typical season. Lots of new people from all over the world, automatic transmissions, um, hauling in hydrous around Saskatchewan, which I did for 2 springs. What have you been doing otherwise? I mean, I remember you had a band going for a little while, right?
Yeah, I had bands in the past and stuff we used to play, but I'm not playing as much because my fingers are slowing down, whatever. But I'm just learning a new guitar style.
What's
I got
that?
into this speed picking, shredding. I'm very a beginner at it. It's like I'm starting guitar all over again.
Right, but you've been playing instruments. Like what year did you start playing guitar and playing fiddle? Like when you were a kid, or maybe when
No,
you
I
were on
start.
this hippie commune in Calgary?
Yeah, when I was about 20, I started playing. I started playing banjo because I just kept hearing this fast picking music. I just go for a walk and I just hear music going 100 miles an hour. So must have been the banjo. So I picked up the banjo and tried picking on that, and then I picked up the fiddle. and then on the guitar. Well, the guitar was just like recording, but and in my musical career, I've recorded three full albums, and two of them are on Spotify. And
Right. I think I remember you sending me a link for
if,
that
if,
once.
if anybody's interested, go to Eddie Plotnikoff and on Spotify, iTunes, they're on YouTube, a whole bunch of those social media
Yeah,
sites.
I'll
Uh,
dig the links up and put them in the show notes, and then people can go check out your music. I
I
mean,
got
it's not quite the same as hearing it when you're sat at 25 kilometers an hour on the cruise control on Gordon Lake
no,
with caribou in the distance and whatnot.
yeah, because you can only play for about 2 minutes before you start going into the snowbank. But
And you said you did lots of busking. Yeah, I seem to recall you financed a trip around Europe one summer doing that.
yeah, I went to Europe. Wait, I forget what year it was. '09 maybe even. I'm not sure exactly. And went there by myself and just stood on the sidewalks and seen some buskers. So I said, well, I could do that. I'll just play fiddle here all day and making a couple €100 a day. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good beer money, man.
Yeah, the one time I didn't have enough fare for the train, so I busked for half an hour and made my money.
What countries did you get covered when you were in Europe? Where did you go?
Went to England, and then I took the boat across the channel to is it France or somewhere, and then I went to Germany. I went to Italy. I was spent a couple of days in Venice, and then Switzerland. What's that town in Switzerland?
Did you go to Davos and
No,
find
no,
out what
not
the
not
WEF were doing?
no. I didn't know about them, but well, Switzerland and France. And actually, the most interesting thing was going on those speed trains, Très Grand Vitesse, TGF, TGV. You know how fast they go? 300 kilometers an hour.
That's pretty quick.
I couldn't believe how fast we were going on those things.
An interesting dichotomy going from super slow on the ice to super fast on those trains.
Yeah, there's cars going 100 kilometers an hour, right? When we're passing this, like passing those cars like it's nothing.
You toured Europe, you toured Newfoundland. You had a band going in Kelowna for a little while. What
Well,
what else?
Grand Forks, Kelowna, yeah.
All right. Do you still go out to Grand Forks and visit folks?
Yeah, once every a few months or so, visit my brother and sisters and
All
family
right.
and stuff.
You mentioned earlier that you were part of a Doukhobor community. Maybe you could describe that a little bit more for us and the where they came from in Russia, how they ended up in Canada. The sort of I think there's a bit of a story about how the Doukhobors started off in Saskatchewan and then ended up in BC.
Yeah, well, they're like something like the Hutterite or Quakers, peaceful community, hardworking, down to earth people living close to the Christian is the basic thing and toil and peaceful life. And we didn't want anything to do with war or guns, so we got kicked out of Russia. Went to around was from around the Black Sea area, most of us. Rostov on the Don. Ended up got on a boat to Halifax, and then ended up in Saskatchewan. Quite a bit of us, and some of us ended up in Castlegar, Grand Forks. Started communities. And it was very poor then because that would have been about the 1920s or so, 1910, 1920s. And that was like the Depression era, but the Doukhobors prospered because we were community self-sufficient, always fighting with the government. So very religious,
In what
you
way?
know,
Why were you fighting the government? Why was the government giving the Doukhobors a hard time?
because they wanted us to to not be so prosperous or something. I don't know.
I, I thought there's something to do maybe with conscription in World War II as well, because as I understand it, the Doukhobors are pacifists and won't fight.
Yeah, that's part of the deal. Yeah.
So were the two communities, the one in Saskatchewan and the one in BC, started at the same time? I seem to recall the Saskatchewan Doukhobors got kicked out. So did they go to meet the
Oh, they're
existing
no,
Doukhobor
no, no, no,
community,
no.
or?
They're all still there. They're all still there. Just they got assimilated with the Western, like all that communal living is all pretty well broken apart at this point. Everybody's intermingled with the rest of the cultures. It's just not as strong of a connection that these days, even though we try to keep the tradition, but the tradition is slowly withering away, being assimilated.
Many such cases. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever been to Grand Forks. I've been to Castlegar a couple of times, but not long enough to sort of get to know the locals or very much about the Doukhobors at all.
and a lot of us still speak Russian. I forgot lots. I should practice more, but a lot of my buddies they speak pretty good, still speak pretty good Russian. So it was really nice to speak to some Russian guys there. Hey, Mujik, как у вас телепается Dekolenki?
What's that mean?
How's it hanging? And it's down to your knees, whatever.
There's been a lot of anti-Russian sentiment in the media, especially in the last year, because of the goings on in the Ukraine. You know
Well, there. Plus, there's also so much information, disinformation that I don't believe anything what they say on the news. It's all pretty well propagandized. Not
yeah, no,
wrong.
you got that right. But what I was gonna say is, so my mother-in-law here in Ithaca, New York, is a teacher, much like my wife is. And I don't, maybe it was her, or maybe it was somebody else in the community was telling me about this student, this young girl, maybe 12 or 13 years old, really, really practicing her English. And I don't know if, like I said, if it was my mother in law or someone else was telling me this story about how this young girl who'd recently immigrated from Russia, and she was complimented, by my mother in law or whoever else told me this story about how well she spoke English and how her accent had like really sounded like a local for how short a time she'd been here. And this girl said, well, if I speak with a Russian accent or I speak Russian, every time I turn on a TV, they're saying bad stuff about Russia. They're saying bad stuff about Vladimir Putin. And people look at me funny. And like, I don't have anything to do with Vladimir Putin. I just want to get along. So I'm trying to not be Russian. That animus, that sort of attitude out there in the zeitgeist actually it affects people that live here that are from Russia that have
Mm.
absolutely nothing to do with what's going on over there or any a political connection to any of that at all, and they feel that animosity in the air, which is terrible.
They shouldn't feel it because everybody's different, and so what? Just get along anyways. I don't feel that at all. If anywhere I go, I don't feel any people want to attack us. We're different.
How did you manage? I mean, you said you got COVID jail when you're on the ice, because I'm assuming you didn't take the gene therapy into your life.
No, I didn't. I didn't take that. Can we say that the jab?
The gene therapy, yeah, I didn't either. I mean,
I just did. Actually, I figured out a way how to make hydroxychloroquine from oranges and grapefruits, and I had some ivermectin with me, and the COVID. It was like just a couple of days of couple aching muscles, and that was it. There was nothing really.
Yeah, I got it. I've got it twice. I mean, I've tested positive. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I mean, 100-degree temperature for about 36 hours.
Yeah.
Felt tired for a couple days, and that was it. It was literally, 3 4 days of which only 1.5 or 2 of them I felt really bad, and then it went
But
away.
what's going on now? Because nobody is getting really sick. COVID, did everybody's immune system catch up, or did the vaccine work, or what? Who knows? And I hear the only people who are getting sick from COVID are the people who are vaccinated. I'm hearing stories. That's the only ones that are getting the COVID these days.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right thinking people should just move past this because respiratory viruses have been with humanity since forever. We're always going to have them.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, you can try and manage Mother Nature, but you have to sort of balance that with letting people be. And we seem to have forgotten that in the last couple of years for sure. Especially in Canada. Like I went home and took part in the Freedom Convoy, and I don't know what was going on. I
Oh no,
guess
the one in Ottawa. You went to that
yeah,
one?
you were probably in COVID jail up on the ice, and
Yeah, and I was with the guy facilitators. He was up there.
oh yeah,
Colin Valentim. He was one of the speakers at the Vancouver rally, but he was up on the ice roads.
oh
And he was
nice.
in and he was in COVID jail with me. And he was not jabbed, but he didn't feel anything. Just a sniffle, or that's about it.
COVID jail. Yeah, you remember so someone else I've been trying to get on the show just because his life is very interesting and he's done lots of cool stuff. Ran the ice with us was Jamie. You remember Jamie Gravel?
Oh, great, Jamie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
West. Well, yeah, we call him West these days. He went to go work at that iron ore mine up on Baffin Island.
I was interested in that too at one point.
Yeah, he went up there. He's been working there now for oh man, 5 or 6 years anyway. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to get him in trouble, but some of the things I've heard about how Baffinland handled COVID would make your head spin. Some of the crap they did to the people up there, and just
Really.
various other things. Yeah, yeah. I'll let Jamie explain it. He's gonna come on the show here one of these days. Yeah, his girlfriend's daughter has been sick with cancer, and he's been on that fly in fly out schedule, and then dealing with his stepdaughter's sickness, and yeah, life's been hard, and it's been difficult to like line up a time with him. But we'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on here eventually. But yeah, the last couple of years, it's for a gentleman like yourself who's laid back but skeptical and not taking any shit from the government. Curious
Well,
what you think and how you've been handling it all.
I'm a I'm a conspiracy theorist, and put it this way: I know about every conspiracy, but I usually don't talk about. And some people are not able to handle talking about conspiracies. Another name for conspiracy theorist is a bullshit detector.
Well, there seems to
And
be
and I could tell when people are lying, like on CNN or whatever, turn on the news. It's yeah, pretty well 99%. You got what really they're saying that? Yeah, it's
I think that's just about anybody with a couple of brain cells left to rub together, watching the mainstream media and what a shit show. My entire adult life, it's just been a shit show, you know?
yeah,
Um, uh, 9/11, Bush invading Iraq,
yeah,
just the financial crisis.
yeah. Well,
I've
these days it's not it's the same. Like the the voter Biden actually getting elected. No, that's not that's crap. Uh, the January 6th. That's another what do you call it? Bullshit story.
Well, what they've done is they've tried to they're using those guys as they're just being punished. They're being used as as an example. They're making an example out of them. If you question the regime, if you make yourself heard, they're just gonna, throw you away. A lot of those guys have never got any kind of trial or anything, and all they
Yeah,
did was like walk through Congress after cops opened the doors for them, and now
yeah,
they're being treated like suspected terrorists from Afghanistan.
yeah.
And
And
the whole
Kamal
thing,
is,
the whole thing about Guantanamo Bay, I might lose a few listeners over this one, but it's the truth and therefore needs to be said. I think only something like 825, 800-ish people ever got sent to Guantanamo Bay. And
oh,
over the course of the 20 years it's been open, 90% of them got let out eventually without any
really?
charge. So basically, the U.S. government was just rounding up anybody they could get their hands on in Afghanistan, whether they had evidence on them or not. And over the years, very quietly, drip, 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 a bunch of those guys all got let out and sent back home or sent to other countries. And I think right now they're down to like 70 or 80 people that were the actual folks they were looking for. And
Hmm.
90% of the people that got rounded up and sent to Gitmo, totally innocent, spent 10, 15, 20 fucking years there for no
Hmm.
reason at all. And the media don't
Yeah,
talk about it, right? You have to like it's on page 37 of the newspaper at the very bottom, or whatever website that's not mainstream news. It's real, it's legit. It's a press release from the government saying we let these guys out, but the media doesn't take that press release and air it out to everybody to say, hey, we have a problem here. We went too
Sen-
far with Guantanamo. They just ignore it. You have to go looking for that kind of information. You know?
well, it's the biggest thing I find is censorship. Censorship is big time. There's things you cannot say, and the news media won't cover stuff.
Yeah, well, they've got they're not the news. They're regime stenographers. They're the
Yeah,
marketing department for our
for propaganda,
state state
and
corporate
and,
overlords.
and and I would say, in my perspective, about 90% of the population everywhere is infiltrated with their propaganda, and it's.
Well, they
I'm a,
there
pol-
there's so
I'm
much
a,
of it. There's such humongous walls of it, and just waves upon waves upon waves. When you grow up around it, and it's all around you, it's hard to fight it all off. It's you have constant vigilance.
I know even when your family or your friends, they're infiltrated by that, and you say something against that, it's not a very pleasant conversation.
Oh, I know all
uh,
about that. I've had a few people say nasty things about me behind my back because I stood up for the Freedom Convoy, and then you
yeah,
know a year later, and all the stuff the media said was proven to be false and lies, and they're
yeah,
still trying. There was this group called the Ottawa Citizens Coalition or something that are still saying there was violence at the Freedom Convoy long after all the cops come out and said there was nothing. The Public Order Emergency Commission, all the evidence came out, there was nothing. But there's some people that they advance a narrative based on being victims, and that we
yeah,
owe them something, and that these people, everybody's just a fascist. And these guys put out a press release here talking about all the violence that happened in Ottawa, and it's like, guys, this is, everybody knows you're lying. Like, what are you trying to do
yeah,
by saying this stuff? 15 months later, after multiple sessions in Parliament, the Public Order Emergency Commission, all these inquiries, where all of it was proven, and these guys are still pushing the lie. They
yeah.
can't let go of it.
Well, just like the January 6th, they just push the lie, and they can't get past that. No, there was nothing like that. And then this Trump being indicted, like, really?
Well, he's living up to his a reputation as being a real estate mogul. He's been living rent free in their heads forever, and I mean, he's not even president. He's not the president, and yet they still attack him, and everything is still about
Yeah,
Trump. Like
yeah,
the guy burrowed so far into their brains that they now can't live without him, and they have to keep
yeah.
invoking this threat, like, oh no, Trump's going to take over. We have to, and they have to keep throwing stuff at him. I'm ambivalent about Trump. I don't care. I can't even vote here. Whatever. It's just so interesting to me the way the media have been completely, he parasitized them. Like he was literally like that. Like in Star Trek Wrath of Khan, they put that insect larvae reptile thing in the guy's brain, and just he would do whatever he was told. It's Trump and the media. He just took over their brains, and they haven't been able to let go.
Nah, anybody who's got that Trump derangement symptom, they must think that he's the best. Then, of course, right? Like, why did they talk about how good Biden is doing? Like, he's just a complete f up.
Well, I mean, he's just a placeholder for the regime. Where there's a lot of people who rightly view what's going on in Western society these days as managed decline. Um, all the all of the chickens are coming home to roost, sending everyone's jobs to Mexico and China and Southeast Asia and Africa, wherever, and debasing the working and middle class, financial effery, shoveling money at 20 years of the war on terror, shoveling money now at the Ukraine so the neocons and the Cold Warriors can get their warmongering jollies, and everything is like falling apart in slow motion. And so all they're doing is
Yeah,
managing the decline. Biden's just
and
the
it,
latest.
and it is declining. One of the things that's the decline of this society is all these drag queen story hours for kids. Like, really, the LGBTQ, like, there's actually a lot of violence happening with that. I'm seeing, like, why would anybody send their kids to see this man dressed up as a woman?
It's not age appropriate.
No,
It defies common sense.
actually, one thing that's interesting is Chris Sky.
Yes,
Guess what he's doing? Running for mayor of Toronto.
I heard that. Yeah.
I think that's going to be cool if he gets in because he's one of those patriots, like a warrior patriot.
Well, he just doesn't take any crap from anybody, and he sees through everything, right?
Yeah,
And Toronto is interesting because I mean, Rob Ford was mayor, so why not Chris Sky? And
yeah,
the thing is the Toronto City Council and their local government. These are dyed in the wool NDP commie type people. Never met a meeting they didn't like. Talk everything to death. Accomplish nothing. Let the city fall apart around them. Get nothing done. Tackle nothing serious. But man, they're real good at social signaling about BS that only they care about. And then the media are all in their pockets. So I only know Chris Sky because he fought back against the COVID regime. I don't know
yeah.
if
Well,
he's
he's kicking butt. Like, I'm watching. He's got about a daily comment on Telegram, and he's kicking butt.
yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it'd be interesting. It would, if nothing else, if he won the mayoral race in Toronto, it would annoy all the right people,
Yeah.
which is a value in and of itself.
Well,
Because
that's what Trump is doing. He's annoying all the right people.
right, well, I mean, we're ruled by this like technocratic managerial expert class who just they've sniffed their own farts. They think they know better than everybody else, and none of them have got a connection to like the real world. Really, they live in their own little crystal castles, and they parasitize the taxpayer, and like I say, they're decline managers, and they're not even
Yeah.
they're not even doing that very well. So someone like Chris Sky gets elected, good. I don't even
Yeah,
care. I don't even care if Chris Sky's a good politician or if he even does a good job. Annoying
yeah,
those people and making them
that
freak out is
that'll
a
be
valuable
perfect.
thing.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be great.
What's happening in BC? You guys got this Jagmeet Singh motherfucker from Vancouver propping up Trudeau. What's going on in BC politics? What's happening out there? I haven't paid too much
Uh, uh,
attention.
I don't even know. I don't pay attention to local politics. It's just I don't know. No idea.
I guess
Um,
you're not too local because you're always on the road going here and there and everywhere, you know?
somewhere, yeah. I should pay more attention to local stuff, but as my brain just goes to global stuff.
Are you still living in the same house next to the Hells Angels?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are they still your neighbors?
Well, actually, about a month ago, they went to court and they kicked him out.
Who
They
kicked
kicked
them
the hell's
out?
in the BC government, or one of the government whatever's.
City of Kelowna, maybe?
No, not the city. It was the government.
Why? Why? What did they? Why did they have to get kicked out? Were they not paying their bills or
I, I,
something? Or
they're paying their bills, but it's something to do with that they're bad criminals, and we should just get not have them allowed to congregate or whatever.
I mean, the government accusing people of criminality is pretty rich, especially these days.
Yeah, well, you point the finger and the three pointing back at you.
So true, brother. So true. So what have you got cooking? What do you got planned for the rest of the year now that we have some nicer weather? What are you going to be up to?
Hang out, and I gotta do some therapy on my hips because I gotta do exercises, get my hips back in line. Then anhydrous, and then for the summer I'm gonna see, maybe I'll drive a bit. I should probably just take the summer off, and that's what I want to do is some busking.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine, it would probably be good if you took the summer off from sitting in a truck and worked on your hips.
Yeah, well, I'm taking a month off, and I'm gonna go seeing this physiotherapist kind of guy. I'm doing some strength training and stretching, and that seems to help. Seems to be helping.
Good. Oh, you're breaking out the fiddle.
Should I play something?
Yeah, no, by all means, sir, go for it.
Oh, here's a song that I wrote while I was on the ice roads. It's called, I don't know why I call it Snag and Flitty, but here's one of them. Something like that. Well, actually, that's one of my songs on my spot on Spotify. You find my a whole bunch of songs on there, and they're all original songs.
Hey, are you taking requests?
Sure,
I,
maybe.
I got I got I got I got some homeboys down south, the Florida and Virginia. I got some buddies online, real Southerners. Maybe blow some Seminole wind.
I'll just play it. I won't sing it, but that's just the beginning part of it.
Right. No, fond memories of the Gordon Lake sessions
Yeah,
and many nights at the Gold Range Hotel. I'm gonna have to send this show to remember my old friend Jilly.
Jilly.
She had like dreadlocks and a couple of dogs.
Wait a minute. She was one of the locals that lived in.
Yeah, she lived in Yellowknife. I was sort of seeing her for a little while one winter.
Yeah, and she jammed a couple of times or something.
Yeah, yeah. I
Can't
guess
remember where.
her and her husband. I think they live in Inuvik now, Inuvik or
Oh,
Tuktoyaktuk. I haven't talked to her in forever. I guess at the start of all this nonsense, I was just asking her how life was. I always keep in touch with her, send her pictures of my pickup truck. She always really liked my truck, and I still have it. All 530 odd K on the clock. Yeah, she's up north somewhere. I'm gonna have to send her this. So anyway, hey Jilly, how's it going? Did you ever get up that way at all? Did West Can ever send you?
no, I actually had a load just before the ice roads because we were pre-hauling and we run out of one kind of a load. So my boss in Kalamazoo said, "You want to go to Nubik?" And I said, "Sure," but that didn't pan out. So that would have been so cool.
Yeah, there's a guy I worked with up on up in Alberta. He's a Nova Scotia dude, and he's working for AFD again, and he's up in their Whitehorse office, and he was hauling a lot of fuel up to Inuvik and Tuktoyaktuk. And I heard from him a couple of years ago they finished the road. Used to only be able to get to Tuk from Inuvik on an ice road, but I guess they built an all-weather road from Inuvik to Tuktoyaktuk so you can get to Tuk all year round.
Cool. Yeah, that was only like a short window of about 3 or 4 days, and it just didn't pan out. So that would have been so cool
Next time,
to go.
are you gonna go back up there? Have you ever thought about like applying to go work for Sadu or maybe one of the Alberta or Saskatchewan farmer guys that go up north
No,
on the ice? Because like sounds to me like West Can's hopeless. Like I don't know why you're still working there.
I don't know. It's just easy. What can I say? But they have this hall that's in Baffin Island, right on the Arctic Circle, somewhere. That the ice road season starts in April, May. So I was thinking of doing that, but maybe next year for ARS.
Alan Scrabba. Wow, is that guy still kicking around?
I had no idea. I don't know. I just see the ARS trucks.
Right. Did well, who are those other guys up there with the blue trucks? I thought I heard they went out of business or something.
But there's
Ventures
Blue
West?
Dot. Ventures West shut down like 6 years ago or something like that. So just one day shut down. And then there's Blue Diamond, Sidhu, ARS, and then a bunch of contractors sort of.
gonna,
So,
gonna, gonna break out into another jam?
no, I was playing guitar and I actually created a song that I wrote on guitar this year. It's not finished, but I'll probably make. If you, can I play it? I'll probably make a lot of mistakes, but
No,
can I
go
play
for it,
it?
man. Go for it.
Can you hear that? Okay.
All right, thanks.
I'm just working on that, so I wanted to play that, so there
All
you go.
right, no, thanks. No, I appreciate it. It's good to hear you jam again.
Yeah, I always got my little guitar that I take with me up north, and you can see this. I always take it with me.
Right. Well, hopefully you get your hips all fixed up and you can do another round in the bars in Yellowknife at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I haven't been
yeah,
up there in so long. I miss it. I really miss up north. Different world up
yeah.
there.
It is. Yeah, it's like going back to the olden days and so many different. Like with all this internet and Facebook and social media, nobody's on the same page anywhere here. You know what I'm saying? Like before, everybody used to watch the same shows, used to be in sync, but everybody's. I don't know even know what I'm saying, but
No, I think what you're speaking to is atomization and how that's been accelerated by the sort of boutique lives we can live online. And
yeah, except
there's not like a cohesive national culture that unites us anymore. Everyone's just off doing their own little thing, you know?
I know, like you go into a lunchroom or anywhere, 90% of the time, people are looking at their cell phones because they have
Guilty as charged. I do that.
exactly, and they have Wi-Fi at Lockhart and some Wi-Fi right up at Gaucho Mine and all over Yellowknife. So everybody's online. Yeah, we're gonna have like our necks are gonna be pointing down all the time.
The next stage of human evolution, our spines are curled over even more.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, Eddie, thanks very much for your time, man. I appreciate you coming on and filling us in a little
Yeah,
bit, and
right on.
I hope you and Elizabeth have an enjoyable little bit of time together before you head off to Saskatchewan.
Great. Yeah.
Are you going to do anhydrous there out of Saskatoon or Edmonton or?
Usually, this doesn't matter. So either Saskatchewan or Peace Block. So anywhere, they're all the same. Just pick up a load, drop it off over there. So
Stay in touch. Let me know how you're doing. If you ever end up on this side of the continent, come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
There's a lot of fiddlers around here. It's a there's the town I live in. There's lots of people into like Americana and like down home, folk and country tunes.
cool.
There's a big music festival here called Grassroots. My in-laws go to it. We go every summer. Uh, Bands from all over the place. A little bit more ear speed. My father-in-law is friends with this guy named Richie Stearns, who's a very well-renowned banjo picker, and he plays around all the time. I think if you came here and hung out for a little while, you play
Yeah,
tunes and have a good time, man.
yeah. In the West Coast, there's not too much fiddling as opposed to going to like Nova Scotia or Newfoundland. Certainly see that more of that, way more of that over there. On the West Coast, it's like it's a treat to see a fiddler.
All right. Well, it's been a treat having you on, Eddie. Thanks a bunch.
Well, thanks for asking me on, and I was kind of freaked out about coming on. But
No, you
I
did
don't know.
good, man. It's all right. It's all right. You did great, and I think people appreciate hearing about life on the ice.
But I was brave and I did it. So
All right, thanks, man.